Welcome to Winnie Wilson's. I'm your host, Joe Chap. Detroit Lions joint practices between the Detroit Lions and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Day one of 2 days that they will be doing joint practices in Allen Park before they hit the field on Saturday. Now, the one thing I loved hearing about was the way Chauncey Gardner-Johnson approached practice today. He was laying the lumber to many different people like Travis Etienne, like Jamal Agnew, and he was talking the talk with Trevor Lawrence. He was talking the talk with the Jaguars because he backed it up. He was talking the way that he was trash talking, doing what he does because that's who Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is. And honestly, if we're gonna be totally totally honest, one thing that the Detroit Lions really missed last year was a guy who can go on the field, talk his trash, back it up, and play the game that way. Because that's a great way to play the game. And I think that any sport that you played, there's always been those trash talkers. And when they backed it up, it even pissed you off a little bit more. So that's fun to watch. Lions offense, they did not have a good day. Jared Goff threw an interception, but the biggest story of the day, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams went out with injuries, and it feels like Amon-Ra St. Brown will be back maybe tomorrow. Maybe he'll be back next week. You put him on ice and let him go. Jamison Williams is a different story. He had a hamstring injury. He maybe pulled it. The problem with that is, if you've ever had a hamstring injury, they can be tedious and they can be long recoveries. And we're just hoping that maybe it's a grade that's easy to recover from, and we'll see him in a couple weeks or after his suspension. But just not good for Jamison Williams because he really needs these reps. Like, he really needs to come into his own zone, and he needs to work on his hands, and he needs to do this, and him being hurt really doesn't help Jamison Williams, and it doesn't help his development at what he could potentially become. And if you're injured, especially a hamstring, I mean, we're talking about a guy that could potentially be on the shelf for 2 to 3 weeks, and then you're talking about missing training camp, and it's just not a good situation to be in. The Detroit Lions offense, aside from that, did not have a great day. Khalif Raymond seemed to have a good day. He was giving the Jaguars fits, but besides that, there was no one that was really making an impact on the Detroit Lions offense, which is sad to see, but it's a little bit good because it allows Ben Johnson, it allows this offense to realize that there's sometimes you have to change what you're doing in certain games. And we saw last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars that Detroit can score against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've seen that when they blew them out. But Jacksonville's defense is more speedy. They are more talented and they are more athletic. So this was a good test for the Detroit Lions offense. The defense, on the other hand, it was fun to hear about some of the things that were happening with the defense, especially Chauncey Gardner-Johnson versus Calvin Ridley. And look, Calvin Ridley's been dominating at Jacksonville Jaguar practices. He's been absolutely dominating, but this is from Jeff Risdon. He says both players had their wins. Gardner-Johnson had an early breakup on a pass that Trevor Lawrence held to account too long. Ridley got his revenge on a gorgeous deep throw that saw number 2 route deep too late in split safety help on a miscommunication with Jerry Jacobs, who struck short to cover the running back flaring into the flat. After practice, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was showing some respect to Ridley in his press conference. When Ridley emerged to his side, they showed one another the game respects the game love. They each deserved after an intense practice, which Ridley did chastise his old rival for talking too much. But we heard about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Like, he is going to talk a lot of trash, but when you can back it up like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson does, you can do what you want. And that's my opinion. I think that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson adds a little bit of flair to this Detroit Lions team that they've so badly needed. Dan Campbell's about grit and working hard, but when you have a guy that works hard and will talk the talk, it's great to see. Jack Campbell had a good day. This is from Jeff Risdon, also of the Lions Wire. We'll put the link on the page. He said, first round rookie linebacker Jack Campbell was one of Detroit's best players on Wednesday, splitting reps between the first team and the second team defense. Campbell was consistently in the thick of at the action. These reps stood out. A backside run contained where number 46 correctly read his keys and sprinted through the line to assist in a tackle. In trail coverage on a shallow crossing route, Campbell sprinted into the throwing lane and forced Nathan Rourke, their backup, to double clutch instead of throwing a would-be interception. Rourke had to throw the ball away to the other side. He had a great form tackle on a stretch run where he didn't bite on the stutter step and flattened running back Travis Etienne near a sideline. Travis Etienne is a freakishly athletic player. So when Jack Campbell does that, that's great to hear. And I'm excited about the development of Jack Campbell. I seen him in preseason game number 1. I'm excited to see what he does in preseason game number 2 because I truly feel like this kid could be a really potential budding star. I think the way that he plays the game at the rookie mindset was really impressive to watch. And just hearing what he's doing today against the Jacksonville Jaguars, it reaffirms my position that I think he can be that next level star on the linebacking core, and that would be great for the Detroit Lions. Many Lions who did not practice on Monday were back in action. Aiden Hutchinson was back. Craig Reynolds and Cam Sutton were back. Noticeably missing was Denzel Mims and rookie Mo Ibrahim. One of the couple big plays that they had was Nate Sudfeld to Dylan Drummond. They produced some big plays, and look, if you're a Dylan Drummond fan, I mean, Nate Sudfeld isn't the greatest quarterback, but if Jameson Williams is down for a considerable amount of time, Dylan Drummond's going to get more run in the Detroit Lions offense in the preseason. That's good for him because I felt like against the Giants, they really force-fed Jameson. They tried to force-feed Jameson the ball, and it just didn't work out, and a couple of plays were led into turnovers. This was the worst Jared Goff performance as in 9 practices I've been to camp. That's Jeff Risden of the Lions Wire. As noted earlier, the Jaguars defense deserves credit for that, but Goff missed a handful of throws he normally makes. He overshot a wide open to Daniel Helms on a deep seam shot that was an easy touchdown most days. Goff threw 1 interception to Devin Lloyd, who had another one dropped. Vaitai and Glasgow, they also rotated at right guard. We know about, that rotation that they're going to be on. Who's going to start is the major question, and we're going to get to know that as we go through the preseason. James Mitchell, he had a rough series. He was guilty of a false start and then dropped a pass on the next play. Former Lions wide receiver and kick returner Jamal Agnew hit a sweet red zone catch over Lions linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez, who doesn't have the speed after coverage. After practice, Agnew made sure to make a visit with many Lions staffers and security folks. He's a good person, and that's all that Risden wrote. But the key takeaways from today's practice, obviously the injury to Jameson Williams, that's going to be something that we're going to monitor. But we feel like St. Brown will be okay. Jack Campbell having a good day is good for his development and the team that he went against. There's a lot of speed on that team, especially with Travis Etienne. If you can really track down Travis Etienne, that is the next level running back. So if you could do that, you're going to be pretty damn good. Obviously, the Detroit Lions offense didn't have the best day, but I expect them to be better tomorrow. It happens. Sometimes you just don't show up to practice. And sometimes you have a bad day. Everyone has bad days. I have bad videos. It's all over the place, but you can have bad days. And Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions offense seemed like they had a bad day today. Detroit Lions defense seems like they had a great day. They had some fun with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson ripping, hits and talking his trash, and then Jack Campbell is over there cleaning up the trash. So this is a good team, and it's good to see what they are doing in day 1. It's going to be interesting to see what they do in day 2, and we will keep you, entertained, and we'll tell you what happened in day 2 tomorrow. But it seemed to me like the most overshadowing news was Jameson Williams' injury, and hopefully he's okay, and hopefully we will get some good news here soon. So this is Between the Whistles Detroit. I'm your host, Joe Chap, and I will see you in the next video.